Rachel Zegler recently had a complete meltdown on stage in London. Disney be yanking Snow White out of there because of it. You're watching. Someone's career crumbled in real time. We are talking about backstage crying fans, chucking things, and a performance so off. Even her admirers commented, "You just hate yourself for watching." However, here is where it goes wild. While Rachel has breakdowns, Snow White eventually became the "Is this the #1 movie on Disney Plus?" Would Disney like to remove their largest streaming hit? If you've been on TikTok RX, you'd think Rachel's London. The performance was somewhat fantastic. Comeback moment. But I gathered the actual evidence from individuals who were really there. And let me tell you, it was a horrible tragedy wrapped in a lovely Rachel has recently performed in the Rachels. London performance, the London revival of Eva, as well as the social media footage made it appear impressive. However, as you go deeper into what happened behind the scenes and obtain testimonials from the genuine audience members, the narrative becomes much more complex. Music. That performance clip appears okay on the surface, yet here's what the internet didn't tell you. A fan who actually attended wrote this. Harsh review X, there was no time, no rhythm, no point to this performance. You just hate yourself for watching when admirers claim they physically regret wasting money. Watching you perform, that is not quite the redemption arc energy you're looking for. This was hardly the only review. Alternatively, multiple people attended, started exchanging similar experiences once. This original review went viral. So this is when things become really fascinating. According to multiple backstage sources, Rachel apparently refused to appear on initially. She was seen crying. Backstage, before the show ever began, we start talking, full of emotions. Meltdown mode before she even took a stride. In front of the crowd is now there. There was also a major dispute concerning "Don't You Come." For me, Argentina was performed outside the theater instead of some people online attempted to spin. This is great and artistic, but there is a TikTok user who revealed the real cause for this happened, and upset about this. You are missing the whole point. And if you don't know what is this, let me explain. Rachel Zegler plays the part of Ava Pyron, stars in Jamie Lloyd's production of Evita, which is now only open on the West End, has become the reason why people are angry. And it is primarily the folks who haven't paid a large sum to be inside they are upset in the theater because, arguably, number in the show. For me, Argentina is being performed Rachel Zegler is outside the theater, stood on one of the balconies outside of the London Palladium, and she essentially performs the song for people in the street, and people who have paid, those who paid considerable money for their tickets, are annoyed. That song will not be played live in theater. Instead, it will be beamed in via the video cameras. Are quite Jamie Lloyd. Think about what he did on Sunset Boulevard is extremely him. If you're upset about this, Anna Pan sings, completely misunderstanding the point. This song she is supposed to be singing to Argentina's impoverished population. They were unable to afford theater tickets. And frankly, Jamie Lloyd had a brilliant idea. Whether you appreciate the way he stages his productions, I can take or leave. To be honest, I did not mind. Sunset Boulevard was my favorite. No, regardless of whether you like him, you have to admit that doing this, given the context of...
Mad about this, you are missing the entire point. If you don't know what this is, let me enlighten you. This is Rachel Zegler performing the role of Ava Perón in Jamie Lloyd's production of Evita, which is currently just opened on the West End. Now, the reason why people are angry, and it's mainly the people who have paid the big bucks to be inside the theatre, they are mad because arguably the biggest number in the show, don't quote me Argentina, is being performed outside the theatre. Rachel Zegler stands on one of the balconies outside of the London Palladium, and she essentially performs the song to people in the street. And people who have paid good money for their tickets are annoyed that that song is not going to be performed live in the theatre, and instead it is going to be beamed in via video cameras, which is very Jamie Lloyd. Like, think about what he did on Sunset Boulevard, it's very him. However, if you are upset about this, you're missing the entire point. And Eva Peron sings this song. She is meant to be singing to the poor people of Argentina, the people who would not have been able to afford the theatre tickets. And frankly, like, it's a stroke of genius from Jamie Lloyd. Whether or not you like how he stages his productions, I can take him or leave him, to be honest. I didn't mind Sunset Boulevard. Was it my favorite thing? No. But whether or not you like him, you have to admit that doing this, given the context of this song, it's genius. It's brilliant.
This song is genius. Brilliant. After witnessing that career crisis upon explanation, it is evident that it wasn't particularly innovative to perform outside. The choice was damage for whatever mayhem was occurring within the actual theater. And just as the irony can't get any thicker, Rachel was seen wearing a shirt that says F, nepotism during the entire journey to Ma'am. You literally have the Snow White role because of your relationship to Steven Spielberg. It's like wearing down with the corporate greed shirt while cashing Disney. Paychecks at the level of self-awareness here is virtually zero. However, while Rachel is out here fashion statements and political, her actual profession has been exploding faster than a viral TikTok. This is where the plot takes a turn. Really? Gloomy since the London theater, the problem was not. Rachel has spent her entire Hollywood career been in total freefall, and the pressure was plainly getting to her words. Across the street, Rachel started looking for a therapist right after watching Snow White utterly bomb at the box office. And honestly, your movie loses a major studio hundreds millions of dollars. You're absolutely going to require some professional aid. Processing that degree of professionalism, Disney caused such widespread harm. Snow White took a financial hit and simply canceled their future. We are discussing remake initiatives. Tangled, which was meant to be their largest remake project. In Disney history, Rachel did not just bomb with one. She literally killed Disney's the entire remake pipeline is kind. Tremendous professional influence that follows you around. Hollywood is irrevocably changed when executives hear your name. The project cost them hundreds of millions, are forced to scrap years. Candid content based on numerous Rachel's sites. Sources from the entertainment business. 4 films that have. Totally bombed at the box office 4 times consecutive failures. And here's truly cruel aspect. She has no forthcoming movie projects lined up. Nothing in there is nothing in pre-production. Nothing is even rumored in Hollywood terms. That means she is basically a persona. Currently, studios aren't returning her agents' calls to directors, are not considering her for box office poison, and everyone in the industry understands it. And her transition to theater isn't going well, Evita. Play has been battling with ticketing. Sales since it was announced, rows of seats are still unsold the week before. The official opening, which is definitely, this is not what you want to see when trying to repair your reputation in. You have a perfect storm of professional failure. And public scrutiny. It's no surprise that everything is happening simultaneously. She was experiencing an emotional breakdown, backstage in London. This is where this narrative becomes dramatic because we now have documented evidence of Rachel's mental state throughout this crisis time following Snow White's disastrous performance. At the box office, the London ticket sales disaster. Several publications reported that Rachel I experienced a full emotional breakdown. Backstage, we aren't simply discussing being unhappy or disappointed about this, was described as a complete psychology. Collapsed several witnesses, her London performance confirms that her rhythm and timing were complete. Off throughout the show, when you're trained professional and the audience can tell that you're not being mentally present is a severe issue. Red flag for your mental state. However, here's the smoking gun that proves exactly hopeful diddle wait. Someone recorded footage of Rasubing after performing one of her songs during Evita's rehearsal process, sad music. This is not speculation or rumors anymore. This is documented visual proof. Someone cracks beneath the pressure of consecutive professional failures. The clip clearly shows that this is not just the usual nerves before a performance, or this person has a high level of artistic expression. Genuinely grappling with the weight of their career is falling. And remember, during the outdoor performance, as previously mentioned, there are multiple witnesses. According to reports, people in the audience actually attempting to throw things at during the concert. Rachel did nothing. Claims a successful career comeback like having to dodge missiles from your audience members. Yet even after, despite the chaos and obvious indicators that Rachel needed to step back and regroup, still making political statements at the stage. Door following performances. Amazing, guys. We have just a couple. Thank you so much for speaking up. Palestine is one of the most important things in the world.
Amazing. And thank you so much for speaking up about Palestine.
It is one of the most important things in the world, if not the most. Thank you so much.
Guys, that's enough now, I'm afraid.
If not, thank you so much, people. That is enough for now. Snow White revival, I'm afraid this is really messy. Galato, her Snow White co-star, is Israeli. Rachel has been quite loud, supporting Palestine during the movie's promotional campaign, created extremely unpleasant tension between them, and Rachel still does not care about preserving professional relationships. Even after her career has undergone several blows, a crowd gathered to watch her outside. The performance was truly tremendous, people. We were so curious to see if she could pull off this comeback moment. Reviews and audience feedback confirmed this. She just couldn't provide what? People were waiting to see this, and now here it is where this whole situation becomes absolutely bizarre, because while Rachel is experiencing public mental breakdowns, her career is crumbling. Something utterly unexpected happened to Snow White on streaming platforms. Snow White somehow. It became the #1 film on Disney+, is available in 48 different countries. When it dropped on the platform in June 11th, based on multiple entertainment, the film was based on industry sources. From 4th to 1st in just 24 hours. The
Okie dokie. I am walking into Snow White, 2 p.m. Now seating. Let's see how empty it is. I hope it's off the walk we go. I hope. Sound like I hear a couple of people. One, two. Okay. 2.
same movie that flopped catastrophically and essentially ended Rachel's cinematic career, unexpectedly become Disney's largest success. You'd think Disney executives would celebrate this surprising turnaround, right? Wrong, Disney. Is genuinely worried about these streaming numbers because they are afraid of the film's visibility will remind people of all the woke controversies surrounding the films. The original release took months to encourage audiences to forget about the tremendous backlash. And now there's the streaming platform is putting out the movie. Back in everyone's faces, Disney's core audience, folks who grew up watching the original animated Snow White, has already felt cheated by this remake? The firm understands that retaining this controversial the version that is most prominent on their platform, like deliberately provoking a fan base. that is already upset with them. This is the most telling piece of proof of how people truly feel about this Snow White revival. Disney published a special limited edition items when the film initially came. Guess what? Still available. It's for purchase months later. When Disney releases limited edition stuff, virtually nobody buys it. That tells you everything you should know about the real audience sentiment. Maybe I dislike watching it on streaming out of curiosity, but they're certainly not opening their wallets to express solidarity. Disney finds itself in this untenable situation in which they have streaming numbers that appear fine on paper, yet the brand's reputation is suffering. Every single day, this movie remains visible on their platform. Disney, working with their internal corporate panic cinemas throughout the world, essentially responded, we're finished with this disaster. Theater owners, we were literally ready to clear Snow White from their screens, despite Disney's contracts often require them. Displaying a specific number of screens for every major Disney release is almost unprecedented. Exhibitors finding flaws in their Disney agreements because a movie performs so severely, and we have viral film demonstrating just how terrible the theatrical performance was. Okie dokie. I am walking inside Snow White at 2 p.m. now. Seating, let us check how empty it is. I hope it's off the We Go. I hope it sounds like a few of People Music 1 too. Okay, to look at the completely empty theaters. Rose, this isn't just a horrible start, and we can sense this is a full ghost town. Situation theaters were fundamentally paying money to have their lights turned on for having idle rooms is not sustainable for any business. Here is perhaps the ridiculous comparison between Lilo and outgrew Snow White's entire United States theatrical run. In just its opening, a film about an alien pets performed better financially than Disney's mega-budget Snow White remake featuring Rachel Zegler let the amount of failure set in for a bit. Lebanon brought the rejection to a whole different level, merely forbidden. Rather than letting it fails naturally in their market when foreign countries are active, prohibiting your film from being shown, you realize you've developed something that's not just commercially unsuccessful, culturally objectionable to audiences. The bad box office performance became so horrible for theater owners, basically pushed Disney's hand in. Removing the film early wasn't merely audience disapproval, was the entire global exhibition industry telling. Disney believed that this endeavor was harmful. Their relationship with moviegoers? Let's break down the absolute chaos. Rachel Zegler, moved from being cast as Disney's newest princess, will have recorded public mental breakdowns. In London theaters, her film somehow conclusion managed to top the streaming charts but booted out of real movie theaters. Worldwide, Disney is now stuck. This weird corporate nightmare. They have a streaming success that's simultaneously a big brand liability. They probably sit in boardrooms, currently attempting to figure out how to. They gently remove their number one streaming movies without admitting it. Keeping it visible harms their reputation. Rachel sought to turn to theater as a means to repair her career, but those vacant seats in London and the scathing audience assessments suggest even Broadway crowds aren't ready to forgive and forget. Her past failures are 4 consecutive cinematic bombs, really difficult to recover from. Hollywood, especially when you have documented emotional breakdowns during what is meant to be your redemption arc. The entertainment industry, it is particularly punishing in terms of Rachel has established patterns of failure. Unfortunately, made it very obvious a pattern of ventures that lose money, produce unfavorable publicity if she can ultimately revive her career, or if this represents her final chapter. Time in mainstream entertainment continues to be seen, but one thing is absolute certain, that the entire thing has become a demonstration of how fast a promising career can utterly collapse when personal choices, professional failures, and public controversies all intersect at the same time. What do you believe? Is Rachel's career genuinely over? She just took an extremely ugly detour. You may eventually recover from dropping your views on whether Disney should Snow White on their streaming platform. Please let me know what you think about London. The performance was just as awful as the reviews make it sound, as if you want to watch more celebrity career meltdowns. The entertainment industry drama that the mainstream media will not cover it. Make sure to subscribe. Believe me, there's always more instability is brewing in Hollywood.